Hi, I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to continue with my series entitled Rhythm Exercises. These are studies in blues rhythmic phrasing, where we go back and forth from lead guitar to rhythm guitar and use one consistent rhythmic phrase. First, I will perform rhythm exercise in the key of A, number 9, and then I'll break it down for you. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Let's break down blues solo in the key of A, number 9. This is an exercise in blues rhythmic phrasing. In these examples, we go back and forth from lead guitar to rhythm guitar, and we'll be using the exact same 2-bar phrase. So this 2-bar phrase will repeat 6 times for our 12-bar blues, and we'll be playing lead guitar in the first bar and extend that into the first eighth note of the second bar. At that point, we'll go into our rhythm guitar pattern. The rhythm guitar pattern that we'll be using in this 12-bar blues is what I call the blues pattern, and it's commonly called the Jimmy Reed or Chuck Berry pattern. So a full bar of the pattern would sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're going to end up chopping the first eighth note of that pattern because our lead guitar will extend into the rhythm guitar bar. So in the first bar, which is lead guitar, we will be playing this rhythm: triplet 2 and 3 and triplet 1. So lead guitar will go over triplet 2 and 3 and triplet 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can hear where I entered in on the rhythm guitar. Notice that I started on the and of 1 and not on 1. So that's the tricky part. You have to chop that first eighth note of the rhythm guitar pattern. Now that we've talked about the rhythm, let's go on to the scales that we'll be using. We'll be using the A blues scale, which is also known as the A minor pentatonic. Those names are sometimes used interchangeably because the minor pentatonic with the addition of the blue note is known as the blues scale. We'll also be using the A major pentatonic scale. For those of you that know caged, we'll be playing these scales in the G pattern. This is the octave shape, and it's also the octave shape that's underneath an open G-shaped chord. And when you extend that up the board, anything falling over this octave shape is known as a G pattern. For those of you who want to know more about caged, please refer back to some of my caged videos. So the scale patterns that we'll be using are as follows. The A blues scale is like this. And the A major pentatonic looks like this. Now that we've talked about the rhythm and the scales, let's go on to part 1. Here's part 1. Triplet 2 and 3 and triplet 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to start out with about a half-step bend-ish, and I am bending a C natural, which is in the minor pentatonic, toward the major third of our chord. And this is a C sharp, part of our A major chord. So I'm hinting at that note by bending to it. Many of you know that I like to include chord tones in my solos, especially starting and ending phrases on chord tones. So starting with the major third, and then I'm going over to the note A, and then this is B, a major pentatonic note, F sharp, a major pentatonic note, So I'm blending major and minor pentatonic quite a bit. And then this is back into minor. So triplet, 2 and 3, and my last triplet is major pentatonic. And then I end on the root A. So I'm ending my lead guitar on a chord tone. That would be the root. And then I jump down into my rhythm guitar pattern, which starts on the and of 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And let's hear that again together. Now, on to part 2. Here we go with part 2. Triplet, 3 and 4 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So in part 2, I'm starting with the root A here, and I'm coming down the blues scale. I'm rolling my finger to E. So A, this is the root, this is the 5th E. Now coming down the blues scale. So triplet, there's my blue note. And then here's 2 and. Now on the and of 2, I'm giving this a bit of a bend. Kind of hinting at that major third again. And then I'm going down to the root and the 5th of my chord again. These notes are in both the major and the minor pentatonic. This is 3 and. And here's my last triplet, which is major pentatonic. Triplet, 1. And notice I'm ending on the root as well. At this point, I go into my rhythm guitar pattern, again starting on the and of 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Let's put that together. On to part 3. Here's part 3. Triplet, 2 and 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So this part is targeted over the 4-chord D7, so we'll be using notes that target D7 as well as the D7 blues guitar pattern. So we're starting on the note C. Now I'm not bending the C this time because it's part of our D7 chord. If you imagine a D7, there's your 7 of the D7. So I'm starting on a chord tone, the 7, triplet, and notice how I really am outlining a D7 chord. Literally, this is a D7, this is the 7, this is the 5, and this is the 3 of a D7 chord. So I'm really concentrating on chord tones here. Triplet, 2 and, so those same notes. Triplet, 2 and, coming down, 3 and then my last triplet is... So again, using notes in D7, triplet, and then bending to the D from the C. So notice how I'm bending to the root and ending my phrase there. And then I go to the rhythm guitar pattern, which is now on a D. So I just move my pattern toward the floor, and this is the blues guitar pattern for D. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Let's put that together. Now, on to the next phrase. Here's part 4. Triplet, 2 and 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So this full lick is mostly the major pentatonic scale. I'm using the minor third in combination. The minor third is from the minor pentatonic. It is also used sometimes as a passing tone within the major pentatonic scale. Sometimes it's referred to as the major blue note. So essentially, I have the major blues scale, and I'm starting on the minor third here, using it as a chromatic approach to the major third. So here's the minor third C, and I'm fingering the major third here. So that's a half step. So triplet, and then coming down the major pentatonic scale, 2 and 3, and now I'm using that chromatic passage between the 2, the flat 3, and the 3 again on my last triplet. So triplet, and now ending on the root A, 1. So triplet, 2 and 3, and triplet, 1, and then I'm into the rhythm guitar pattern, and we're back on A here, and 2 and 3 and 4 and on to part 5. Here's part 5. Triplet, 2 and 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so part 5 is targeted over the 5 chord. That would be E7. So I'm starting on a chord tone of E7 here. This is the note B, which is the 5th of an E chord. So my first triplet is using a hammer-on, triplet. So I'm going from the 5th of the chord B, and the triplet ends on E, so triplet. Then I'm going up the major pentatonic scale, 2 and then 3 and then my last triplet is triplet, and then I end the phrase and I'm jumping to the E under my pinky here, so that's the root E of our 5 chord. And then we go down to the rhythm guitar pattern. We just move the same pattern down to the open E, and so that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and let's put that together. Now for the last phrase. Here's the last part, number 6. Triplet, 2 and 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so we're going to start this first triplet with an approach slide into the 5th of the chord. That note is E, the chord is A. So we have triplet. Now this, I'm fingering it sort of like a double stop and letting it ring together. The notes here again are E, and this note is G, so that is actually the 7 of an A7. So we have 2 chord tones creating this sort of double stop effect. Triplet. Then I'm going to come down the blues scale using the blue note, 2 and 3 and that's the root A. Triplet, 2 and 3 and here's my last triplet. Triplet, and so that is the major pentatonic, triplet, and then ending on the root A. And we go back to our A accompaniment pattern, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and let's put that together. That's it for rhythm exercise in the key of A number 9. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starlander Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.